No, be manly.
Be manly.
Be manly.
Be manly.
Hi, I'm Bobby Angel with Ascension Presents. Today, men, I want to talk to you about becoming men of virtue. C.S. Lewis said that something within the human heart breaks at the thought of a life of mediocrity. We know that we're not meant for just a mediocre life, and yet so many of us just kind of settle into routines, whether that's just our work, whether that's just the day-to-day of what the things we need to juggle. Some of it's good things. There's a commute, we've got to do things to support our families, but the mundane can drag us down. If you're young adult in college, you may be wondering, again, what am I here for? What's my purpose in life? And it's so easy to just kind of have a life of vegging, a life of just living on the internet. And maybe I'm making all sorts of trophies and achievements in the digital world, but not doing much in real life. Well, we're not made for that. Pope Benedict XVI has a quote that people often draw from, and it says, "The ways of the Lord are not easy, but we were not created for an easy life, but for great things." We were not created for an easy life, but for great things. You'll hear it sometimes paraphrased, we weren't made for comfort, but for greatness. Every man, we're all drawn to these superhero movies. There's inside of us, there's something that wants to be a hero. I want to propose to us all as men to become men of virtue. Now, what virtue is, it's moral excellence. And really, it's excellence, period. Virtue comes from the Latin vir, virtus. Vir is man, manly. So if, for the ancient world, a virtuous man was a manly man. Like, if you were a man, you were virtuous. And it's excellent. It's a life of excellence lived, not a life of sloth or of lust or vanity or just settling for and just getting by. We're not made to just get by. God has put that ache deep in our hearts to search for Him, to respond to His love. If you believe God exists, then there's got to be some roadmap of how I ought to live. There's got to be some way to live excellently. We're not just all trying to figure it out in the dark. And thanks be to God, literally, He's left blueprints within our hearts, within natural law, and within His own divine law. Aristotle would say virtue is the mean between the two extremes. Let's take courage, for instance, the virtue of fortitude or courage. The extremes of that would either be cowardice, that all men rightfully deplore. A coward is not someone we all want to be, and yet we all fall to it. The other extreme of courage from cowardice is rashness, is that you just run into battle without weighing any of the costs, and you can do great harm to yourself or your loved ones. So it's finding the middle ground that you find authentic courage, which is not the absence of fear, but moving despite of fear. So the four classical or cardinal virtues are justice, wisdom, or prudence, courage or fortitude, and then temperance, the ability to moderate ourselves. And then there's the theological virtues that God has directly revealed: faith, hope, and love. And I'd love to spend maybe like a video on each of these, and these could all be very long conversations. But I think when we start looking at how do I live excellently, the virtues are a great roadmap on how to get there. Christ has come to give us our freedom as men. John 10:10 says, "I have come to give you life, and life in abundance." It does not say, "I have come to give you rules and make you miserable." I've come to give you life, and life is abundance. It's not God bringing to us a rule book and saying, here's a whole bunch of rules you got to follow, and if you screw up, you're going to hell. It's, I've come to give you life. So, men, wake up. You need to be alive. You need to be excellent and virtuous. We need to get out of our lust. We need to get out of our laziness, our sloth, not the animal. We need to get out of our gluttony. We need to get out of our anger, our despair, and get off the couch. We need to act. We need to be men of action here. So what I'd love to do is continue this conversation with you guys in living excellently and using the virtues as a roadmap. So the virtues are habits, and we never fully arrive. I am never courageous, period. I am never a man of faith, period. That will never waver. They are habits we have built up over time. So it becomes easier to be virtuous and do the right thing. But it doesn't mean I will never fail, I will never sin or screw up. So first of all, be patient with yourself. But second of all, set the bar high. Set the bar higher than what you have. Bishop Robert Barron has an expression I love, and he says, the church has a very high bar of her standards. Christ says, if you look at a woman with lust, you have committed adultery. That when you walk by and abandon a poor person, there is Christ in that person. And it's, well, who can ever live up to that? And thankfully, the bar is high, but the mercy is just as high. It's not, well, you sinned this many times, sorry, you're out of the club. So we try to find deep meaning for ourselves, sometimes in pleasure or entertainment or on message boards, trying to figure out what the next movie in the cinematic universe of our choosing will be about. But am I being excellent in real life? Christ sets a high bar for every man. Am I trying to bring the bar down instead of trying to raise myself up to get over it? So what habits can I form better? What areas of my life can I challenge myself? Who in my life can I challenge or ask, hey, can you call me out? Can we become more virtuous together? Pray about that. Pray about where in my life are other men that need this, that need fellowship, because no man is an island. You cannot do this walk alone. I have many men to this day, good friends who hold me accountable, men who challenge me, and I challenge them. And we need that. We need that to grow and become the men God wants us to be. The only way to create a good world is to create good individuals that contribute to that. And so, men, it's not a job for someone else to do. It's a job for us to do. Thanks for listening. I hope something here has sparked something that's already inside of you, and that is the call to excellence, the call to a virtuous life. Pursue it. Don't be afraid of it. God has your welfare at mind, not your woe. It may get uncomfortable, like any training. You got to be pushed beyond your limits. You've got to fall down sometimes to get back up, to learn humility, to grow stronger. But God is with you on this path, and so are other men out there. From all of us at Ascension Presents, God bless.